All this talk about vision and the components for making it a reality is all well and good. But you may be asking yourself now, if this stuff is so effective, why am I not crushing life? Well, unfortunately, it's not that simple. Understanding the material is a very small part of the process. The hardest part is applying it. So for the next few videos, I'm going to be discussing how to gear yourself up to make this happen. Today, I'm going to be focusing on building the right habits, so you can take what you're trying to tell yourself to do and actually follow through on it. The strong majority of our activity comes from habits. They determine how we navigate our day, from the first thing we do when we get up to the last thing we do before we go to sleep. We can define a habit as a pattern of behavior that's done without conscious attention and often without thinking about the purpose of it. People can form habits of contentiousness or laziness, honesty or dishonesty, good temper or bad temper. Every time you remain calm under a difficult situation, it's going to be easier for you to remain calm next time. Just like every overreaction is going to encourage a future overreaction. The more you perform a particular activity, the stronger the neural connections your brain makes in support of that activity. That's why it's harder to build new habits than it is to follow old ones. This means the tasks that you're trying to perform will become exponentially easier or exponentially harder depending on your habits. You can see how you shouldn't be leaving your habits to chance. You should treat them with the utmost importance because they will lock you into unconscious patterns that you may not notice. When forming a habit, start by getting into it the easiest way possible for you. For example, you want to start going to the gym. Go to a gym that's close to your home or work. Go at the easiest time of day for you. If you're not a morning person, don't try to get up earlier and go to the gym. Go at the end of your day. And start with a simple, easy workout. Honestly, just showing up at the gym and not doing any exercise at all is better than not going if that's all you can do on your first try. When we hear the word willpower, we often think that we need to exert a lot of energy. But the most amount of energy that you will need to exert externally will be the first time that you do something. Each time after that, it will take less and less. But then you are going to start running into mental resistance, and you need to exert energy internally to overcome it. Try to recognize the initial period of change when things start to feel the most difficult. Then you can recognize why things feel so hard, and you can exert energy internally to constantly tell yourself that things will get better if you just continue through it. When you set out to do something, do it absolutely every time, because as soon as you don't, you're starting to build the bad habit of breaking the productive habit of follow-through. Now I'm going to introduce some self-management habits that you could start building that will provide you with the ability to follow through on your vision in the most effective way. The first one is to keep your resolutions and make fewer of them. The more resolutions you make, the harder it will be to do any of them. You'll either forget them or you won't have enough time and energy to put in the needed work. Each time you fail to fulfill a resolution, you're weakening your resolve. You're not going to take yourself as seriously the next time you set a goal, which is going to make it harder to commit to. You'll also want to make sure that you make resolutions that align with your vision, because if they don't align, you're really just working against your overall goal. Handling resolutions in this way will automatically create momentum that will build self-respect, confidence, and willpower. The second one is controlling your thoughts. Remember in the first part when I was asking you to design a vision, I talked about the idea of sacrificing short-term pleasures? This is where that sacrifice is going to be tested, because opportunities to indulge in them will come up, and your mind is going to start going in the direction of distracting you from your vision and indulging in them instead. Balance is key here. You want to keep yourself incentivized, so you should indulge to that extent. But to the point where they distract you from your vision, don't let them. Make sure that your vision and the supporting resolutions are indisputable and non-negotiable with yourself. Also, once you're in the follow-through phase, don't ask yourself whether you can achieve what you set out to do or whether the sacrifices are worth it. You've done this analysis already, and you've asked these questions and answered them. So now just stay in action mode. And finally, you want to stay resilient on focusing on the advantages of carrying out your resolutions and not dwelling on the disadvantages. Your mind can paint negative images when you're challenged or under stress, and this can destroy your confidence and lead to failure if you let it. Don't analyze the negativity, just relax through it. Keep bringing your focus back to what you've calmly and deliberately reasoned out. The more you do this, the more you'll cultivate the habit, and then the easier it will be to hold your vision in your mind during times of stress and challenge. And this brings us to the third one, concentration. The execution of your vision will never occur as one shot of focus. You must exert small efforts of will over long periods of time and build up momentum by doing this consistently. We can break down concentration into two different parts. Both must be cultivated. Firstly, day after day concentration, which means giving up diversity of your interests so you're able to work on the same thing consistently. And minute after minute concentration, which means keeping your mind focused on one subject for a period of time uninterrupted. The key to this is by making sure this subject is important to you. If you see it as important, then focus is going to replace the mental wandering that is commonly experienced. And finally, number 4, proper time management. It takes time to carry out your vision, so make sure to set aside enough time and don't let anything postpone it. If you don't actively do this, chances are you'll fall back into pre-existing patterns and fill your day with less important things. Especially when you're working on something new and innovative, make sure there's enough time allotted together, because when you're getting back to work on something, there's always that initial period of time where you're catching yourself back up. We went through some deeper stuff today. It's not easy, but stay resilient and stay focused. The result of hard work is happiness, and the result of laziness is pain. In my next video, I'll be discussing how to overcome obstacles that potentially you are or will be encountering. So until then, do what makes you strong, stop doing what makes you weak!